This was the first batch of travelers who had to undergo mandatory quarantine in Taiwan. They were picked up from Wuhan, China, by a special government flight when the COVID-19 pandemic first broke out in early 2020. Shortly after that, Taiwan shut its borders completely to all, but returning nationals and residents who could only enter if they complied with strict rules.
那当然这几天国际的这疫情持续的升温那境外在台湾来讲，境外这一路的个案可以就是也是一样是暴增的那为因应这样的一个紧急的情况所以我们也宣布非本国籍人一律限制入境。那至于是不管是本国人或非本国人，只要是入境那都一律要居家检疫14天。
As soon as this announcement was made, the government launched a system to monitor people in quarantine using their phones. 2 months later, returning residents with vulnerable family members were required to quarantine at a hotel instead of at home. By 2021, all incoming travelers also had to provide negative test results 3 days before boarding their flight to Taiwan. The 14-day quarantine was only cut short at the end of 2021, when the government launched a special plan for the Lunar New Year holiday. The quarantine time was decreased further this May and June before it was lifted completely in mid-October. Taiwan attributes its early success in pandemic prevention to its strict border control policies. But the longer restrictions were in place, the more challenges they created. Aside from a labor shortage due to a lack of migrant workers, airline pilots went on strike in May this year because the policies barely allowed them any time with their families.
And for the last 2 years, we are allowed it to quarantine at quarantine hotel, but during the quarantine, if you do a rapid test, then you are allowed it to perform another flight duty again. So if you are allowed it to do the flight duty, it means you are safe, you are healthy. Then it means you are healthy enough to do the duties. Why not healthy enough back to my home?
The travel industry was among the hardest hit by the restrictions. And in March 2021, the government tried to help by creating a travel bubble with the country deemed to be at very low risk for infection, Palau. But there were still limitations on those wanting to make the trip, so the outcome of the travel bubble wasn't as good as the government had hoped. The strict quarantine policies did shift a few times with the availability of home testing kits and once vaccines were ready.
So the home test instead of quarantine, I think, is a really good new direction. Even though when they were starting to push for home test because of the new case spikes last couple months, then it was the mask, the vaccine, and the home test.
Taiwan is already behind most countries in reopening its borders, and confirmed cases here are now primarily local transmissions. Late or not, east border restrictions are now seen as a must if the country wants to stay competitive in the world. Klein, Wang, and Yujing Huang for TaiwanPlus.